Being an empath, what I see most in people's minds. Are you curious maybe what a practicing intuitive empath actually sees when we're out there looking in people's thoughts and feelings? You might be surprised. We often think that other people are stewing over us and plotting, planning, maybe rehashing something. But I often see something very different. Every person is like their own unique species of a flower or tree, from tiger lilies to buttercups. They each feel different inside. And so I explain how I sense that person and then how I figure out or feel into what they're really thinking or feeling about you or really anything else. So if you're an aspiring or even a practicing empath or psychic, or even you're just empath curious, today come take a peek in what other people are thinking about as I open up my world to you. Flowdreaming, still kinda woo-woo, is just what it sounds like. An escape into the world of woo. Also, a ride into you. And how to feel happier, wiser, and more self-aware in every way. It's your ultimate journey into personal growth and inner power. We'll explore ideas like how your energy self influences the kinds of opportunities you encounter, or how your personal growth can drive your business growth, or even how that feeling of being stuck is really always coming from something else. We just have to figure out what. That's right, we're a dash of woo-woo, a sprinkle of self-care, a heap of problem-solving and pattern-busting, and a giant cup of encouragement. We're going to relight so much passion, purpose, self-love, and confidence in you that you practically stagger. I'm Summer McStravick, your host, and welcome to Flowdreaming, still kinda woo-woo. Welcome, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you today, and especially because I'm kicking off a brand new program. This is the first and biggest thing that I have done since Me School. Some of you remember Me School. I ran it for 10 years, a good full decade. And then I closed it down because I was ready to move on and develop new things. And finally, the fruits of my labors. It's called Born Empath. And yes, I did run a couple of preliminary kind of sessions of it years back, at least 3 or 4 or 5 years back. And I realized this needs to be its own thing. It's time. So what I'm going to do over the next couple of episodes is describe to you, explain to you what it's like when you really develop and open your intuitive senses and what you receive when you do it. And hopefully it'll inspire you to really dig in and develop what could be a vastly underutilized part of yourself. And when you do this, you will realize you are using this skill for literally everything. You walk into a party late and you ask yourself, is my friend upset that I wasn't here right on time? And you will know. You won't even have to, it doesn't matter what your friend says, you will know and be able to respond with that extra bit of information appropriately. You go into work one morning and your boss is looking like they are just going to explode. You are going to know, are they exploding at me? Are they exploding at something that happened at work today? Or are they exploding about something that's going on at home, their home? You will know. I can't tell you how valuable this is to know stuff like this. It makes all the difference in what you get, what you receive, what you ask for, the income you earn, the relationships that you either make more secure or finally realize you can let go. So let's dive in. Today, I'm going to talk with you about what I see most in people's minds and give you a little hint about how I go in and see it. Now, of course, all of this is developed quite deeply in this Born Empath program, which consists of 2 11-week sections. So it's going to take us about 6 months to get through, but I made them 11 weeks and we get a break. So there's some time away, but there's a lot of practice. So let's get in here. First of all, when I'm looking into somebody, I am in essence stretching my field of touch or sense. Kind of like when you close your eyes and you can sense the room around you. You sense the space. You can sort of, I always call it casting your feelings out, casting your awareness out, right? You can kind of almost touch the walls in your mind, know what the paint feels like, if it's cool, if it's slick. You can feel the rug. You can sense where the rug is. You can sense the boundaries of this room. This is something your brain naturally does as a way to create spatial awareness and spatial memory inside of you. It's how it knows to orient yourself when you're walking and moving and so forth. It's very fundamental. But the other layer of that is a sensory layer of understanding about it. When you are experiencing, say, the walls around you and the rug or wood beneath your feet or the concrete, it's not a whole lot different than when you're sensing the other person sitting in that room, right? You can sort of sense their outlines, sense their being. And yes, of course, part of it is the memory that's stacked up in you. But you go a little deeper and you'll see something that I call the energy signature. It's as specific as a handwritten signature. And it's a unique identifier. We all have one that is only us. It's comprised of everything we've ever been and what we're creating around us right now. It's sort of like a soul signature. And yes, you can practice and figure out how to find it and feel it, and then begin interacting with it. So, that's a nutshell, right, of a very basic concept. What happens when I do this? And frankly, I work with so many people. Like I have spent thousands of hours at this point in an altered state, in flow state, reading people, finding out information and so forth. I will tell you, of the thousands of clients that I've had, what they ask for most. Like, what do we really use this? And when I go in, what am I seeing that people are actually thinking about? So in the beginning, I was joking a bit saying that, you think they're always rehashing things with you or stewing about you and so forth. That is probably one of the biggest fallacies. As it turns out, even when we are rehashing or stewing about something in our minds, it's more often about how we were in the situation, not about the other person, right? Think about it. In that phone call, and I lost my temper, and now my friend is mad at me, but it was me, and she did this thing and she did that thing. But really, it's about you processing and reprocessing your own thoughts and your own ideas on the situation. That's kind of a shift number one to be thinking about. First of all, people are not obsessing about us as much as we think they are. We are obsessing about ourselves in relation to them, if that makes sense. So when I'm going in, and let's use that friend argument, and a client will ask me, what is my friend feeling? And I do get a lot of questions about friendships, actually. I feel like sometimes it's a triad. What's going on? This friend, I'm thinking right now of the recent White Lotus season, the 3-friend group, and they're all kind of, not to be a spoiler, but they're, talking mean behind each other's backs. I will find a person will say, what do they feel about me? And the answers are often like what you'd expect. Like your friend feels that you're a little too needy sometimes. Or your friend gets annoyed that you are arguing with the other person and wonders why you can't just drop it. Or your friend is very much on your side. And when they say, I believe you and I trust you, and it's the other person that's the crazy maker, now right? Sometimes, the things I see, I have to really delicately tell them to someone else because I don't want to inflame or exaggerate a situation, but I want to give them something that they can use, something that's going to be really helpful, something really productive. So I might not say, your friend thinks you are kind of needy. And it annoys them sometimes because they're a kind of person who just goes about their business and they think everybody should just take care of themselves. How I might describe that as I'm feeling that inside someone else's mind is I might say, your friend really appreciates space. Your friend loves to be with you and talk with you, but then it becomes too much for them and they overload on it. And that's why you feel them withdraw or get irritable. So here's what you're going to do with them. You're going to share with them. And when you get the first sense that maybe they're getting annoyed, you're going to just switch topics and you're going to say, hey, let's talk about what we're doing next weekend. We're going on a hike. I said, you're going to learn to manage your friendship so much better and yet still get your needs met, because maybe you're over asking from them because you're insecure about, do they really like you? So you keep telling them more and more, trying to feel as if the more you tell them, the more they'll start to come closer to you. That's not how they work. You can see that there's almost an element of psychology with this. But for me, it's just really common sense. It's just common wisdom that I try to share. Here's another very frequent request that I get. My boss. Oh, my boss. Bosses are, trained, taught, don't overshare with your employees. Don't involve them. Don't spill the beans on what's going on. So there's already a built-in tension for many of us. Many of us don't feel the boss is on the same team. They're on a different person's team, a company team, whatever. So we walk around with a lot of doubts oftentimes. I'm thinking of, I'm going to give you some scenarios, recent things that I've seen looking in bosses and in this case, CEOs, some really high placed people in high placed companies that I've been able to talk with. Now, first of all, I have a caveat here. I forgot to mention this. When I go in and read people, nobody's going to tell me anything they don't want me to know, first of all. There is no sense of going in and just opening the door to someone's house and barging in and robbing them of their jewelry and watches. No sense of that. When I talk with someone, I get their permission and then they share what they are willing to share. You would be surprised, however, when you're going in empathically and speaking with people, they're willing to share a lot more oftentimes than they will with their mouth. I would ask this recent boss, what do you think of so-and-so's position with you? Do you plan on bringing him in full time? Do you need him? What's going on? A recent boss, I laughed. I said, what's really funny is I'm going to nickname this guy the knife, because when I'm looking at him, he feels like he just got to this position and he's there for a very specific reason. And he may bring you on, but it's going to be because he's going to be getting rid of other people. I said, expect layoffs, expect restructuring. You're in the wings, like you're part of the new guard that will be brought in because they're trying to cut some of the old stuff out, the old people out, the old ways of doing things. Maybe they're downsizing or cutting costs. This guy's a knife. And you need to recognize if he starts laying people off, what is going to be your position? What are you going to be able to fill and do it better to make yourself valuable? Now, can you imagine if you came into an interview or maybe you were just temping there and you had that, you would be like, I know where this wind is going. So valuable. There was another boss that I looked into. All of these are men for some reason, but whatever. Another boss. And I said to my client, he's a real straight shooter. And I said, he gives me Boy Scout energy. Does he ski? And she laughed. She's like, yeah, he just got back. He just got back from a big ski trip. And I said, yeah, he's got this outdoorsy, very stand up, nature oriented. He could have been in the military. This guy thinks in the terms of what's the right thing to do. And he holds his word high in regard to himself. I said, so when you address him, you need to be as honest and straight shooting as you can. He will sense that, right? Don't hold your cards back. Say, I need this salary. I need this bonus. I need to know if I hit these marks that this, and this will happen. Can we agree on that? Does that work for you? Works well for me. And if he says yes, he's going to do it. Again, can you imagine? Game changer. Conversely, another boss I recently was in, I had a real different feeling. And I said, this guy is giving me, I think they even use the words Elon Musk vibes. It turns out he was pretty pretty big deal. I didn't know that at the time. I try to ask as little information as possible about the people I'm looking at, so I don't go in with all these preconceived ideas that end up clouding my judgment, because I come in already thinking I know stuff about them, and then what I see, I try to fit into that. So I try to know very, very little. I said, this guy, you are just a cog in a machine. You are just a piece of something that's either going to work or not. And frankly, if you don't work, you're out. If he doubts you for a second, if you're loyalty tested, if you don't do the weird things that he's doing right now in this company, you're out. I said, so you don't even need to linger at this point. You're not going to get anywhere. You're just biding time in a situation that is so unlike you. And other people are also confused. Like, there's a lot of confusion going on in this company, as you can understand. Boss is saying one thing, everybody else is feeling weird and shifty, and people are looking for new positions and they don't know why. And no one's telling each other real stuff. I said, it's time to go. You don't fit here anymore. Be one of the first ones out. Don't be the last one on the ship. So valuable. So I do a lot of work looking into bosses. And the senses that I often get, right, in this case, it was how they feel about you, but also their outlook, because that's important when they're, governing a bunch of different people underneath them and they hold their livelihoods in their hands. Sometimes, though, I'll look in people and I'll say, this has nothing to do with you. I don't know what is going on in this person's home life, but it is a real shirt show. They are a mess, and they are, just leave them alone. Just let them duck out of the way. This is not about you. Again, relief. Sometimes, though, it's the opposite. And I often look in employees as well. I know, sometimes, you guys, I feel like a sleuth, like a detective, and I'm sneaking around the house and reporting back and going through trash. But again, the work I do is very uh, contained within, I feel this, I don't feel this. Here's what I think it means. By the way, I could be wrong. And by the way, they're not going to share anything they don't want to share. I always make sure of that. And frankly, I couldn't pull out information that a person would not want to give. A person's being, their soul, is a sovereign space. It is impenetrable. It's just fascinating how, when given the opportunity to actually share, people will go, oh, thank God. Yeah. Can you just tell this person that? Because I don't know how to do it. I can't. I've tried before. Can you please just do it? And then I act oftentimes as the intermediary. Remember back in, grade school, before you had a cell phone and you had to write a note, and you didn't give the note directly to the person. You gave your note to a friend to give to the person, right? You had this friend that was kind of the pass through, the go through. That's me. I'm a grown up version of that. Anyway, going back to your employees. People are trying to hire and they're looking at different potential people. For instance, as an assistant, let's say a new VA or a personal assistant or someone to help them in their business. And I'll say, what are you looking for? And they say, well, I need somebody very methodical. I need somebody who's, super on top of things. I'm kind of messy and I need them to keep me on track. And I say, okay, good. Let me go see if I see that in them. And I'll go into the person. You had that interview. You're being considered. Tell me who you are. Share with me a little about how you work, how you function. Right? Is your desktop, your computer desktop, a big garbage bin of messiness, or is everything neatly filed? Do you really love staying on top of things? Do you love details? And sometimes I'll say, oh my gosh, this person is so perfect for you. I mean, hire them now, hire them yesterday. And other times I say, no, this person actually doesn't even want to work for you. They're desperate and they're saying stuff to get a job. They need work. And because of that, I don't know if they're going to be a perfect fit because I don't know that they're very organized. But their desperation does tell me that they will be grateful and thankful, and maybe they will try their hardest because of that. So you need to make that decision now. It's pretty interesting, doesn't it? Right? Having these different insights. It's almost better than a personality test. In fact, my son was applying for jobs recently, and he had to go through all the tests, the Myers-Briggs, psychosocial, emotional. It was crazy. And it's all because these companies are trying to figure out what makes this guy tick. Like what's his focus? What motivates him? What demotivates him? Fascinating stuff. And I was thinking, what I do is similar to that, because they often don't give you the results. They don't tell you, oh, you came out as the most generous, wonderful person versus you came out as a selfish son of a bitch. So it's kind of similar in a sense, except that I'm reading a different level of people, not one that's, sent through their checking boxes on a website. A couple more examples. The third kind of people that I see a lot, or fourth, we've done friends. We've done family. I'm going to say family and friends. We're going to lump them together, right? Why does mom treat sisters so differently than she treats me? I get a lot of questions like this. And a fourth area, though, besides family, friends, bosses, employees, coworkers, are the people that we are in romantic relationships with. And I know you probably thought you should have led with that, Summer. That's what I really want to know. What's going on? Why haven't they called? Are they truthful when they say that they are sorry and they'll never do it again? Is he cheating on me? The classic question. This brings me to another aspect that I find really fascinating, and it's about lying. And of course, lying can happen in all of these relationships. But when you're an empath and you're doing what I do, lying becomes a real obvious thing. And what's so funny is in person, I am not the greatest lie detector. If you're looking at my face and saying something to me, my tendency will to believe that you are truthful in what you're saying. And then later, I'm like, I feel so weird about this. What's going on? And I realize, the empathic me picked up an entirely different message. And I've learned to switch over and listen to that one instead. When you're dealing with somebody who does not want to tell you the truth, when I'm looking at them, we're going to go with the classic one. Is he cheating on me? There's a couple things that I usually see. One is a person, may not just want to tell you. I'm not going to share that information with you. Who the heck are you? I'm not going to talk to you. I don't know who you are. Oh, you're a friend of Myrna's? Well, you know what? I'm not going to talk to you then because I don't want to share anything with you that's going to go to her, right? And I will just get, frankly, walled off. The same way that Myrna, I don't know why it's Myrna. That's a funny old fashioned name. But the same way that Myrna feels walled off, I will get walled off. And I'm like, I'm getting the cold shoulder. And she'll sigh and she'll say, yeah, that's exactly how he's doing it with me right now. I'll say, well, he's not going to share with me either. But what that tells me, that non-sharing, is there is something close and personal that he's holding to his chest. And maybe what that is having to do with his second thoughts about this relationship. Or maybe he is holding an attraction to somebody else that he really doesn't want you to see. He wants to get through it on his own and figure out if it's a real thing, if it's not. But yeah, there's something happening there. You're right. Right? That becomes a red flag for us. I look for a lot of red flags, by the way. Another sense is, he's flat out lying. And you know how I know this? Because when I ask him, he tries to tell me one thing, but I'm feeling another. He's like, oh, everything's fine. She's wonderful. And I'm like, then why are you being so weird energetically right now? And this often happens, frankly, when a person is not trying to lie to me, but they're lying to themselves. Like, no, I don't actually have that attraction to my coworker. Oh, no. They don't want it. They're trying to deny something inside of them. So they will deny it with us as well. And I say us because I bring my clients into this three-way conversation and I'll say, I'm feeling denial. I'm feeling self-denial. So again, go deeper into this. Ask questions. This leads me to the last little bit here. And I hope this has been interesting for you guys. When I say ask questions, I'm begging my clients. When I'm giving you this information, don't just send out the divorce papers tomorrow. What I'm asking you to do is probe into different areas that maybe you were confused before on. Now you know the right questions to ask. Now you know how to get something clear and out there in the real world. I want to hear spoken words and I want to see physical actions. When you have that, then you have the confidence and the clarity on every single level, which is the opposite of what we often do. Oftentimes, say we serve those divorce papers and the action's done and the words are said, but there's still this deep sense of, am I doing the right thing? Is she really that bad a person? Does she really not love me? It's the emotional, it's the empathic part that's the actual unsolved part, the part that lingers, the uncertainty. What we're doing here is we're trying to check all three boxes. That way, when we're making our decisions, we're barreling through with this gorgeous and beautiful clarity and knowing all the way across the board. These are some of the top things, again, that I get asked to look into as an empath. I didn't even talk about some of the other areas we look at. I might look into an entire workplace, for example. I might look into a family relationship dynamic like mom and dad together or mom and new stepmother. You can look into dynamics between people as well as single people, as well as groups of people. Like I said, your workplace. It gets really fascinating the deeper you go into this skill set. That's frankly why I don't even know if I can teach all of this in 2 11-week periods. I'm going to do my darndest to get people through a basics as well as an advanced in that amount of time. If you feel like this is so fascinating, I definitely want to learn this, reach out to me. Just send me an email and I will have a place on my website where you can learn more about Born Empath. It should be right there, hopefully on the homepage if I've got my act together and gotten everything together. And you can come in. And I'm not going to give an enrollment date just yet because it's still kind of up in the air as I'm recording this. But we are going to be doing this and it's going to be the biggest program that I run all year. I mean, this is it. This is the biggie. And again, be translating this into your mind. What would it actually do for you? It is going to give you clarity. It's going to give you relief across the board in all of your relationships. Having this skill, it's going to make you a really valuable friend to others. Believe me, you will get calls every day from your friends. Can you look into so-and-so? You can also translate this into your work, into your finances, into your money. And I know that ends up being a bottom line for a lot of people because just that extra bit of information can mean the difference between should I ask for a $3,000 raise or will they go for 10? Right? And right there, I mean, you've just leapfrogged ahead probably 3 or 4 years in your career. And I know that sounds like a very materialistic fundamental level, but frankly, we need to use every tool we have. That's why I'm here to teach it to you. With that, lots of love to you all. I'm going to do a couple more episodes about this just to kind of flesh out the way I live and work and how I help people. And hopefully you'll find it really fascinating being able to peel back the covers of the mind and the workings of your favorite intuitive or psychic, not just me. All right. Take care, everybody. Lots of love, and I'll see you next episode. I'd love the opportunity to work with you one-on-one because this is where I see the most remarkable growth in my clients. When we work privately, it's more than coaching. It's mentorship, energy work, and intuitive guidance. And what I offer, well, it kind of goes beyond coaching. Together, we'll access insights and information you wouldn't typically have, leading to real transformation. We'll start with a life assessment, what you desire, where you've been, and where you're going. Then, we'll align your desires with the universe with a personalized flow dream that you can use over and over. You start with an introductory private session or a deep dive, or of course, we can work together ongoing. Visit flowdreaming.com and search for private sessions, or just reach out and email me. I can't wait to meet you.